Okay, good afternoon. Hello, everybody. Everyone hear me okay? All right. Those who sitting next to the doors in the event of emergency, those doors become the emergency exit doors, so you don't have to touch it, but just take a moment to locate your door handles. And also, in case of fire, extinguisher located at the right-hand corner of my seat. And 3 locations of Aloha bag in the pouch here, behind my seat here, and the back of the seat. Anytime during the flight, if you don't feel comfortable, use those bags, okay? And if you want to scream, there's a microphone. There's another one back here also. And I got another camera up here. Want to say hello to yourself? Okay. As soon as we get clear by the tower, then I'll be on the way. Okay, once again, good afternoon, aloha, and first of all, off to the left, up on the hill, beautiful pink structure, looking at the Triple Army Medical Hospital. Also, mountain range on the left, we're looking at the second formation of the island of Oahu. This particular mountain range were formed as a second island approximately 2.5 million years ago. And coming up in front of us, industrial areas of Honolulu, Silver Honolulu Harbor. Also, up ahead on the right, beautiful cruise liners right next to the first one. The city of Aloha Tower Marketplace, Aloha Tower, as well as our financial district, downtown Honolulu, right over there. And just about straight ahead, behind the building, small brown hill, will be a location of Punch Bowl National Cemetery of the Pacific. 750,000 years ago, that was one of the active volcanoes that existed here on the island. Currently became a national cemetery of the Pacific, and 35 to 36,000 ex-soldiers and immediate families are buried at the Punch Bowl National Cemetery of the Pacific. Okay, this time on the left, downtown Honolulu, right next to the beautiful cruise liner. The retired car corner, Aloha Tower Marketplace, and Aloha Tower itself. Well, since the renovation of the Aloha Tower Marketplace has been completed about 4.5 years ago or so, since then, those type of beautiful cruise liners are beginning to arrive here at Honolulu a little bit more often than before. Okay, continue up ahead on the left, we got Keola Basin, Alamona Beach Park, Alawa Yacht Harbor, Waikiki, and the Diamond Head. Now, if you're familiar with the American TV show, Gilligan's Island, Second Harbor, which is Alawa Yacht Harbor. That's where the SS Mina left for 3-hour tour from that harbor. Okay, slowly, left to right. Alamona Beach up ahead, off to the left, off to the right, Waikiki Beach and the hotels. Once upon a time, this coastline area used to be a swamp. Everything was a wetland. After landfill were completed, we built this beach park, shopping mall. Also, Waikiki hotels were built on the landfill land. Okay, Waikiki off to the right, all the way to Diamond Head. This picture on the left is one of the popular one. Hilton Hawaiian Village Rainbow Tower on the left. Ilikai Hotel. Okay, I'll stand. Off to the right, there's a couple of submarines that are operating right here. This is where the Atlantis submarines are operating, off to the right hand. One is on the surface, the other one must be under the water. The fire department helicopter here on the left. Okay, look on the top of Lookouts. There are a group of people there enjoying the view. Anybody can visit the Diamond Head and hike up to the Lookouts, but if you intended to hike up to the Lookouts, then they'll charge you $1 to walk in and $5 to park your car and hike up to the Lookouts also. Okay, what's in the crater is the United States Army Reserve Camp, so-called Fort Ruger, and public parking that are located within the crater. Obviously, there are no diamonds, lady. There you go. Now, local Hawaiians named it as Mount Leahi on this particular crater. We got a Punchbowl crater, Diamond Head crater. Straight ahead, we got a Koko crater, which is the latest extinct volcanoes of the island. Koko crater, last activity were occurred about 160,000 years ago. Okay, along the coastline, we're looking at the southeast shore of the island, which also known as Gold Coastline of the city of Honolulu, due to a multi-million-dollar homes are located along this coastline. Today's average price around here is about $5 to $10 million homes. Prior to build all these homes, these areas used to be a farmland. Yeah. A lot of local farmers used to raise the chickens, pigs, and the cattle here. This particular golf course on the left used to be a cattle ranch, but now it's a membership golf course, along with a beautiful hotel next to it, called Kahala. And also mountain sections, upper half of the mountains are always hidden by the clouds, and that's where the most of the rains that normally occurs. Somewhere between 75 to 85 inches of rain that occurs throughout the year. There are about 300 different kinds of trees and 60 to 65 different types of ferns that also are grown in the mountains. Luckily, there are no snakes, no bear, nothing much of wild animals that harm the people in this mountain. And weekends, time to time, over the ridgeline, we find some people, group of people that enjoy the mountain hiking as well. Okay, coming up ahead, we're approaching the east end of city of Honolulu, area called the Hawaii Kai residential area. Also, a beautiful bay called Manalua Bay. Another popular place for people to enjoy the water activities in the area. Now, since the Hawaiian Island began to form from northwest to a southeast direction, simply left to right, that's how the islands were formed. And left of us, direction of northeast, 230 miles northeast. I'm sorry, the 90 miles northeast. Northwest of us, correction. That's where the island of Kauai is located. And off to the right, 200 miles southeast of us, that's where the youngest island, so-called Big Island of Hawaii, is also located, along with the two of the active volcanoes of state of Hawaii, so-called Kilauea and Mount Mauna Loa is also located there. And the current activity site is so-called Pu'o'o Vent, pretty much identical shape and the size of this little crater coming up in front of us, known as Koko Crater. 1986 on the Big Island, that particular event called the Pu'o'o erupted. And during the eruption, lava fountain came up to about 1,500 feet up in the air, which is a record of the heights of the eruption that occurred in Hawaiian volcano history. And this particular crater is pretty much identical shape and the size of that. And the other side of the crater, we got a sandy beach, and the scenic point on the east shore, so-called Halona Blowhole, is also located there. Okay, understand? Off to the right, Hanauma Bay. Due to thousands of tropical fishes existing in this particular bay, became one of the pretty popular and the most recommended swimming and the snorkeling areas of the island today. Off to the left, follow the highway, little parking lot, blowhole, sandy beach, other end, Makapu Point, and the latest extinct volcano here on the left, Koko Crater. Now, if you go to the Big Island of Hawaii, something similar to this one, which is a Pu'o'o, is showing continuous activities, even now. Okay, coming up on the left, Hanauma Bay. Okay, off to the right, Sandy Beach, Blowhole. This is the latest extinct volcano on the right. If you go to the Big Island and chance to fly the helicopter there, if the weather permits, they can fly you right around the rim like this, and you can peek inside, and that's where you can see a hot lava boiling inside the crater, and a lot of smoke coming out, and all this hazy condition that you see here, this is we call it the bog. This is smoke that came out of the volcano. Since this past couple days, we've been having the wind that coming from the Big Island, which is where the volcano is. So all this volcano smoke is traveling 200 miles northwest from the position of crater. That's why it's crating like this. Normally, the winds are coming from right to left, northeast to the southwest. So if that happens, then all this hazy condition never exists. Yeah. Now you can see a little zigzag line on the slopes. Those are all part of the hiking trail that used by a lot of people. Okay, so let's go to the mountain to the other side. Off to the left, we got a beautiful beaches of Waimanalo Beach, Bellows Air Force Base right next to it, and the Kailua Beach, Kailua Town, over the peninsula, Kaneohe Marine Corps Air Station. Then off to the right, if you're familiar with the TV show called Magnum P.I., right and below there are a group of estate on the beachfront. One of them is the Magnum P.I. Estates, right next to the seawater pool down there on the right and below. Further off to the right, we got a Rabbit Island, Sea Life Park, all the way to Makapu'u Lighthouse, which is the east tip of the island of Oahu. There you go, all the way to the right. And the left, Waimanalo Beach, Kailua Beach, over the peninsula, Kaneohe Marine Corps Air Station. Okay, reverse the view now. Now look on the walls of the cliff. You may notice the kind of a wavy horizontal lines. Those are pretty much individual accumulation of flows of lava created that wavy horizontal lines. Each time flows of lava comes out, cools off, and another one goes on top of it, cools off, and another one goes on top of it. So layers of flows of lava overlaps each other, gradually raise the land and beginning to form the island. There are two kinds of lava that existed in Hawaiian volcanoes. One is called A'a, second one is called Pahoehoe lava. Difference between the two, degree of the temperature, appearance, and the movements of the flow are also different. How are you doing, everybody? All right? Having fun?
What is that concrete round circle left side down there?
Oh, just the, where? Oh, that's a water tank. Yeah, that's a water tank. Okay, airfield on the right. Obviously, runway itself is not a quite a usable condition, but we're looking at the airfield called Bellows Air Force Base. The runway itself is not a quite a usable condition, but still under the control of the United States Air Force. Now, morning of December the 7th, 1941, when the Japanese Navy came to attack at Pearl, they came from further off to the right. Direction of northwest, distance of 230 miles northeast. That's where the 33 ships, including 6 aircraft carrier, were located. And within about 2 hours, the Japanese launched the total of 352 airplanes. And this is where the areas of northeast of the island, second group of 172 Japanese aircraft arrived and began to attack at the Bellows airfield and also Kaneohe Marine Corps Station that coming up on the right, other side of the bay over the peninsula. It looks like somebody's standing on the top of the peak of the mountain. You see them? They're waving. Like I said, no snakes, no bear, nothing to harm the people, so that's why people goes all over the place. And also left of us, a little valley is called Manawili Valley. And some of the filmmakers use this valley also. The latest one that I remember is part of the latest movies of Bruce Willis, so-called Tears of the Sun. Part of the scene of the movie were filmed back here, partially. Okay, there are 2 passes on the left. First one is called Pali Pass, and the second one is called Kalihi Pass. Also, some of the second group of Japanese aircraft, after bombing the Kaneohe Marine Corps Station, located on the right, they flew into those 2 passes and they made a shortcut to get to the Pearl Harbor. That's a Pali Highway, Pali Tunnel. Above the tunnel is a small observation point called Nu'uanu Pali Lookouts. And the other side, Honolulu Harbor. Also at the Pali Pass, 1795, first king of the Hawaiian Island, so-called Kamehameha I, fought the last battle up against the chief of Island Oahu. After he defeated the chief of Island Oahu, he became first king of the Hawaiian Islands. Okay, coming up on the right, inside the bay, tiny green island. We're looking at the Coconuts Island. And also, some people named it as Gilligan's Island. That's where the majority of the filming of the show, Gilligan's Island, were actually filmed on that particular island, known as Coconuts Island. Okay, coming up ahead to the left, there's a highway called H3 Freeway, H3 Tunnel, connecting between the Marine Corps Station, located on the right, other side of the bay, and the other side of the tunnel is a Pearl Harbor. And coming around the left-hand side of the highway, there is a 45-degree angle of the mountain slope. If you ever heard the name of Stairway to the Heaven, that's where the Stairway to the Heaven is built, on that slope. Nearly 4,000 of them. Once in a while, some people climbing that stairway too, which illegally they're climbing. Now there's a little plateau coming up on the left, on the slope. That's a midway point to the top. Right here, on the left. You see it? Okay, Gilligan's Island is on the left. And the stairway to the heaven. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, in front of us now, beautiful Kaneohe Bay. All those white sandbar areas, they're a mixture of reef and lava. Not quite 100% coral reef there. And some of the large areas of sandbar area, you can see some jet ski riders, and a lot of boats might be over the sandbar. Those people are some of the locals that enjoy the barbecue up there. You can simply get off the boat, easily walk around the sandbar, which less than knee high of the depths of the water. Okay, if you follow the coastline off to the left, up ahead, there's another tiny island. You're looking at the Chinaman's Hat Island, there on the left. And slightly left-hand side of the island, there's a big mountain wall called Mount Kualoa. Behind the mountain, there's a valley called Kaava Valley. That's where the famous movie, Jurassic Park, were filmed. Originally, Jurassic Park filming begins on the island of Kauai. But September 11, 1992, the island of Kauai were direct hit by a hurricane called the Hurricane Iniki, and they couldn't continue the filming there, so they brought the part of the filming location into that particular valley called Kaava Valley. Now you can see a bunch of boats out there, right? They're all locals. Now keep your eyes on the surface of the water. Time to time, you might find some activities of turtles on the surface of the water. Left-hand side below, little circular shape of fish pond. It was another filming location of the old movie, Karate Kid, #2. Wax on, wax off. We're filmed right there on the left. Okay, Austin, look around the edges of those reefs right here. You see something, little dots floating? Yeah, those things are all turtle, right over there too. You see how big the turtles are? We're about 1,500 feet above the water right now. There are a bunch of them right there. Yeah, all over the place. Well, all these little dots are turtle. Now look on the left and below you, up ahead. There's a black reef, there are a bunch of them, right there. They're all sea turtles. Why don't you jump in? They're huge. Okay, off to the right, Chinaman's Hat Island, straight ahead, Pu Mau Mau Mountain. And the left of the mountain slope is a valley called Waikane. That's where the part of the monster movie, so-called Godzilla, were also filmed. This is where they discover the egg of the monster. That's where they filmed that scene. All right, coming up on the right, Mount Kualoa, Kaava Valley, which is a famous Jurassic Park, or partially filmed in this particular valley. And this valley is private land. There's a ranch located on the right. You see lots of white tents out there. Belongs to that ranch. So they have own tour that also going on here, such as horseback riding, ATV rides, few other activity that also goes on in this particular valleys of Kaava. Okay, slowly, right to left.
kids and a boy dog and a cat. And then she spied by the ocean side this handsome Connie with a coconut hat. Well, I looked at her, she looked at me. We're never gonna be the same, 'cause I got hooked and a hooky-low, and the hooky-low was to blame. Ooh,
Now, if you look on the slopes of the mountain, there are lots of silver greenish colored type of trees that are growing on the slopes of the mountain. You're looking at the state tree of Hawaii, so-called kukui nut trees. 1959, when the Hawaiian Islands became 50th state of the United States, those silver green ones on the slopes were selected as representing this state of Hawaii. And kukui, K-U-K-U-I, meaning of lights. Kukui nut that grows on the tree looks like a chestnut looking thing. Contains a lot of oil, so all days Hawaiians used to get oil out of the kukui nut to use it as a fuel to light up the lamps. Also use it as a candle, so it's also called candle nut trees. Yellow hibiscus flower became state flower. Nene goose became state bird. Name of the fish called the homo nuku nuku apu a'a became state fish. If you go to Waikiki Aquarium, you can find a bunch of those fish. Okay, everybody ready for waterfall? Okay, in a minute I'm gonna get you in to the one of the waterfall that we got known as Sacred Falls. Along the coastline off to the right, northeastern shore, some of the Polynesian villages that are located along the coastline. Right below us is the Kahana village, next one, Punaluu Valley, and village of Ka'ava, and continue Haulalaia, which is the location of Polynesian Cultural Center, Kahuku, all the way to the North Shore. This summer was a little dry summer, so, well, mountain is green, but just about it. That's about it. Just enough to keep the mountain green, but not enough to create much more of waterfalls like winter time that it has. But we always got this one here, always running, known as Sacred Falls. The height of the waterfall is approximately 1,500 feet from top to the bottom. It'll be on the left-hand side of the window first. Keep your eyes open, okay? And after that, I'm going to turn around for the right-hand side as well. Couple little ones at the bottom, and away in the back we got a little tall one. Here comes the big one. You see it? Left to right, there's a hiking trail coming this direction. That's where a lot of people used to hiking here. Unfortunately, 7 years ago, 1999, a group of 50 people hiked in, and those people enjoyed the Mother's Day. At the bottom of the fall, all of a sudden, landslide. came down on top of those people. And some people couldn't make it out of here. So since then, state of Hawaii closed this hiking trail to the public now. So nobody can get in here. Okay, everybody got a picture? That's why the helicopter is the only way to see now. With the airplane, you can't get in that tight place, yeah? All right, after the rain, we village of Ka'ava, up ahead Hauula, and right after that, if you're looking at the location of Polynesian Cultural Center, which is Ala'i'e. This is the village of Hauula off to the left. Next one is Ala'i'e, location of the Cultural Center. Big rooftop, outdoor stage of the Cultural Center, parking lot, and right behind that is the BYU Hawaii campus. And behind the campus, up ahead on the left now, small white structure, that would be the temple. Okay, slowly, left to right. You gonna buy it? It might be for sale. Now, part of this mountain section is training areas of the United States Army, as well as the United States Marines. Especially during the Vietnam War, they were using this area for training. And the other side of the ridgeline off to the left, we got a bunch of helicopter landing area that exists. But today they're fighting at the desert, so they don't need this jungle. But it's wide open for us. No snakes, no bear, but we do have a wild boar and wild goats that are actually existing in the mountains. As soon as clear the ridge, I will be north shore of the island, a couple of famous locations of the surfing contest, which is known as Banzai Pipeline, and the Sunset Beach area, Waimea also. And also other side of the ridge, we got another mountain range, which is the west side of the island, so-called Waianae. West mountain range of island, Waianae mountain range were also first formation of the island. Formed as the first one about 3 million years ago. Between the west and the east here, open field is the central part of the island, so-called Wahiawa. That's where we got millions of pineapple. After the North Shore, we're gonna head back in there and fly over the pineapple field also. Then fly by the Dole Pineapple Maze. Anybody had a chance to drive around? No? Yeah, once you get out of the city, pretty simple. Only one single highway goes around the coastline, so if you stay on that highway, shouldn't be a problem. Except that straight ahead end of the coastline, you can't go around that point because there's no road around that area. And go around that point to go to the other side, which is the west side of the island. By West Shore, it's one way in, one way out. You're gonna have to go to the southwest side of the island to be able to get to the West Shore. All right, now, if you've been watching the recent TV series that filmed here on the island, so-called Lost, end of the coastline, just prior to it, there's a little beach there called Mokulea Beach. That's what the story of the show began. Yeah, that's where the first filming, which is the crash side of the airplane, that filmed. And coming up in front of us, we'll be looking at the Banzai Pipeline, as well as the Sunset Beach. Coming up on the right is a pipeline, Sunset to the left, Sharks Cove and the Waimea, town of Haleiwa all the way to the left. And off to the right, pipeline, Sunset all the way to the Turtle Bay Resort Hotel, which is another isolated hotel that's standing on the North Point, called Kahuku Point. You can see a little swell, Sunset and the pipeline area here, off to the right side. And the left, Sharks Cove and Waimea Bay. You can see a bunch of surfers today. Now follow the highway. One section that you can see a bunch of cars. Beach itself is right up to the highway. The little section of the beach is the Sunset Beach. Still not quite good yet, you know, not big surf, big swell yet. Probably end of the this month or beginning part of next month should get a little bigger surf condition here. Okay, we're looking at the entire North Shore.
My sweet pikake. Oh, hey, oh,
Okay, up ahead on the left, Turtle Bay, Sunset Beach coming around.
my
Okay, also pipeline.
Mekamake mate, kuiala, Pilipaponoi, kaulana ke ona oialea.
As you can see, there's a road along the coastline, right? Simply you use that highway and should be able to get around. Okay, off to the right, Sharks Cove, Waimea Bay, all the way to town of Haleiwa. Well, when the water is calm here, you can see a bunch of cars down there on the right hand below, yeah? They're all either scuba diving or snorkeling down there. Now, slightly from left to right along the coastline and the direction they will be flying. This is where the first group of 180 Japanese aircraft also came in, which is the northwest to the west routes of the first group of 180. And straight ahead, we got Schofield Army Base and the Wheeler Air Force Base that are located in these directions. Okay, right in below, up on the hill, there's a rectangular shape of a dark brown thing. You're looking at the Hawaiian Heiau, which means Hawaiian Cemetery. Right in this gulch below us, Waimea Falls Park, along with a small waterfall at the end off to the left. Due to thousands of tropical plants that grows in this gulch, became a little park along with that little waterfall there with the pond. Okay, central part of the island, either side, all this lighter green color open field, those are all sugar cane. I should say, abandoned sugar cane. About 15 to 20 years ago here on the island, they terminated the entire operation of the sugar. Due to a high cost of labor, were affecting the price of the sugar in the world. And our sugar price compared to South American countries and South Pacific Asian country became a little expensive. So because of the reason, our sugar operation has been terminated. In the entire state, only two of the islands, which Maui and Kauai, are the only two that still operate in the sugar company. The rest of the Hawaiian Islands are closed. Normally it takes about 18 to 20 months to be able to harvest the sugar cane, and requires lots of water. Just to produce the 1 pound of sugar, the average usage of the sugar canes are about 10 And just to grow 10 sugarcane, we spend about 240 gallons of water, which equivalent to about 1 ton of water is needed to grow just the 10 sugarcane. Time for harvest, what do they used to do? They used to set the fire intentionally on the field to eliminate the leaves of the sugarcane first. After that, yank the sugarcane, dirt and all, and transport it to the sugar mill and squeeze the juice out of it to produce the raw sugar. Now, after all this sugarcane field will be a beginning of a pineapple. Roughly, there are medium pineapple that are still operated by the two companies, Del Monte and the Dole Pineapple. And surprisingly, all those millions of pineapple off the right, up ahead, they're still planted with the hand, one by one. Time for harvest, they also pick those pineapple with the hand too, one at a time. Okay, in front of us, left hand be the first window. We're looking at the Dole Pineapple Pavilion along with the largest pineapple maze that they built late 1990 and 1998. They claim is the largest pineapple maze in the world. Take a look at it. There will be a rectangular maze in the middle. They shaped it as a pineapple. You see it? Okay, left to right. Weather condition of the island is pretty much similar to summer, so there are no particular season of this pineapple. Almost every day, just the different locations that are capable of either planting or harvesting those pineapples. Takes about 24 months after they plant the first plants of the new plant of pineapple. Only the first one takes that long. After the first one being picked, second one on pretty much every year. But the size becomes smaller, so normally within 3 years we pick 2 pineapple from a single plant. Okay, left and below, ladies, little rectangular shape of grass area with the trees that grows in the middle here. You're looking at the royal birthplace. That's where the royal queens of Hawaii used to give the birth in that location. Due to the superstitious people of the Hawaiians, they used to believe in hundreds of different gods. And because of that reason, some people used to steal the royal baby. And some people used to steal the dead bodies of the greatest warriors of the Hawaiian from the cemetery too. So to protect the baby, some of the queen gave the birth in that location. Okay, off to the right is the Schofield Army Barracks, Wheeler Air Force Base. Up ahead on the left, you're looking at the Pearl Harbor. We're currently northwest of the Pearl. And a couple of Army helicopters on the left, United States Army National Guard. And the Army is supposed to be on the right-hand side, but our Army got a call for deployment, and about 4 weeks ago, so they shipped out. Around 30 years ago, so all the homes that are coming up on the left or right, those homes never exist here. This area used to be nothing but a pineapple and the sugarcane. So all the homes are built over the top of old pineapple and the sugarcane field. And some kind of monument in below us. This is some kind of Japanese church, temple, or something like that. They purchased the old sugarcane field and they built the temple here. Okay, up ahead on the right, looking at the entire Pearl Harbor. As we get closer, you may notice the island located in the middle of the Pearl is the Ford Island, and the group of ships on the right-hand corner, those are pretty much out of commission. Very, very old ships of the Navy. And straight ahead, distance away, might be a little tough to see it, but there's a Diamond Head east to the northeast of the Pearl. That's where the second group are approaching the Pearl Harbor also. And at 7:55 in the morning, 350 out of 352 made it here, began the attack. There are 97 U.S. naval ships were in the harbor, and after a little more than 2 hours of the attack was over, 18 out of 97 U.S. naval ships were heavily damaged. 3 out of 18 ships became disabled. California, Utah, and Arizona. Today, 2 out of 3, which is Arizona, located on the left-hand corner on the other side of the Ford Island. And this side of the Ford Island, that's where another sunken ship, USS Utah, is also located.
Destination paradise, very straight ahead. Destination paradise, over Diamond Head. Time to move out, time to get away. Time for freedom, time to dream and play. And to feel the spirit of an island in the sea, where a world of choices beneath your feet. Paradise, very straight ahead. Destination paradise, over Diamond Head.
Now, this side of the Ford Island, there are a couple of pier there. Between the long and the short one, that's where the Utah is located. Opposite side of the Utah, there's a battleship museum, so-called. USS Missouri is located on the other side.
And to hold the vision of tomorrow in your hands, reaching
Those ships are very old.
the sky, the sea, this land. Destination paradise, very straight ahead. Destination paradise, over Diamond
Okay,
Head.
now look on the left. Utah on this side of Ford Island, between the long and the short pier there. There's a shipwreck showing just a bit above the water. You're looking at the Utah. Opposite side, SS Missouri. And in front of Missouri, small white structure upper left-hand corner of the island is the Arizona.
Destination paradise, destination paradise, destination paradise.
Since this 9/11 attack on the World Trade Center till about 15 to 16 months ago or so, the United States Navy didn't allow any of the aircraft to fly through here for the security purpose. But today, restrictions are a little different, so obviously we're able to fly through it now.
People, are you listening to what we're about to say? You see, we're on a mission. We're trying to find a way. If you and me make a guarantee,
2,341 soldiers were killed in the morning of attack. Today, 1,177 bodies are still turned with Arizona. You see the discoloration on the surface of the water? That's because of the oil leak and the fuel leak that creating that discoloration on the surface of the water. Okay, after the rain, here come Air Force Base along with the entrance and exit of the Pearl Harbor, which is the only one.
Could you imagine?
Along with the 30th busiest international airport in the United States today, Honolulu. We have 4 active runways at Honolulu. One of the runway close to the ocean water. That runway were completed about 26 years ago. Landfill over the reef, so it's called Reef Runway. Part of the purpose of emergency runway for space shuttle program over the Pacific.
Take a little dip in the ocean. Oh yeah, oh yeah, singing A-L-O-H-A, a little aloha in a day. Spread a little aloha around the world. A-L-O-H-A, a little aloha in a day. Spread a little aloha around the world. Well, aloha means hello, and aloha means goodbye, and aloha means I love, and I wanna take it higher. Aloha, I can touch the sky with a little aloha. Let's spread a little bit of aloha.
The controls keep changing the instructions, so we have to on this zigzag line.
Ocean, oh yeah,
There's a new controllers in the towers.
singing A-L-O-H-A, a little aloha in a day.
Okay, we are clear by the top for landing, so I'd like to take this time to thank all of you for having us this afternoon. Mahalo. Now, after landing, just for safety, remain seated. Ground crew will get you the for ya. And while exiting helicopter, just take your time, watch your steps, watch your head, and proceed back to the yellow circle. And if you'd like to take a few more pictures, just follow the instruction of ground crew. They should be able to help you out.
Ili hewa kahimana ke ole ke kutaku makahewa wali ku'u ana laha hei ka pome kea Ili hewa kahimana ke ole ke kutaku makahewa wali ku'u ana laha hei ka pome kea
All right, everybody. Now, thank you. You can.